man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the man got that stuff. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video gameplay for you guys. And it's actually funny. It's actually funny that this is a Pokemon video. Or a video that features Pokemon gameplay. To be more specific, Pokemon Unite. Because of the topic that we're going to get into, you know we're going to have to talk about this. You know I had to talk about this. And that is Palworld. So, if you're a gamer, you know all about Palworld. And either you're playing it or you're not. And that's where it is right now. So, what's the deal with Palworld? So basically, if we were to look at the Wikipedia page for Palworld, I'm not sure they have like a good explanation of what Palworld is, but I'm gonna try my hardest. So Palworld is it's not an upcoming, it's out now, but in the early access version of it. But nevertheless, Palworld is an action-adventure survival and monster-tainment game created and published by Japanese developer Pocket Pair. That part is gonna be important later on in this video. Japanese developer, Japanese. That part is going to be important later on in this video. The game is set in an open world populated with animal-like creatures called pals, which players can battle and capture to use for base building, traversal, and combat. Palworld can also be played either solo or online with up to 32 players on one server. And here's how it is. You can play this on Steam, aka PC. It's also available on Windows, which is also PC, but let's continue on. It's on Xbox Series X, S, and on Xbox One. That part surprised me. And it's on Game Pass, by the way. It's also on Game Pass. So, now let's talk about it. So, let's look at the numbers real quick. Because some people was like, oh, this game gonna die in a week. Now, by the way, for those people who said this game would die in a week, this game came out January the 19th of this year, by the way. Again, it's still in this early access mode. And it's cost like, I think it's like close to $30, US dollars, that is. So, here's the thing about that. So, let me find these numbers for those who say this game would die in a week. Whether they joking or trying to rough, being serious or whatever. So, Palworld sold over 1 million copies in its first 8 hours of the early access release, which was on January the 19th. And then it went up to 2 million copies within the first 24 hours. Then 3 million copies within the first 40 hours. Then 5 million copies by day 3, 6 million by day 4, 7 million by day 5, and 8 million by day 6. And on January the 24th, it reached over 2 million concurrent players on Steam, becoming the first game since PUBG Battlegrounds to achieve this feat. So, there you go with that. Moving on January the 27th, Palworld recorded 2,101,867 concurrent players on Steam. As of February the 1st, the game sold 12 million copies on Steam and had reached 7 million players on Xbox. According to Microsoft, the game was the most played third-party release on Xbox Game Pass, reaching a peak of almost 3 million daily active players on the Xbox platform. So it's kind of hard to say, oh, this game will die out within a week. I mean, it's doing these types of numbers basically past the week. Now, will it last for the rest of the year? That's another story for another day. Who knows? But in terms of like, oh, it's going to die out really soon or very quickly. Nah, y'all need to stop that argument. Not right now. Because y'all already wrong. So y'all need to stop that. Now. There's 2 controversies involving this game. And one of them is not, well, I mean, you could say it's 3. But 2 of them are kind of related. But the other one, not a lot of people have talked about it enough. And I'm going to talk about it. But we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about the big controversy here. Is this a Pokemon ripoff? So that's where we're going to go with this. Is this a Pokemon ripoff? And why is this game still in the market? Why is this game still available for people to play? And things of that nature. Well, to answer the question, it's not a Pokemon ripoff, believe it or not. It's not a Pokemon ripoff. Despite the fact that I am playing Pokemon Unite and you're watching gameplay of this, despite the fact that I have another channel called True Inferno's Pokemon Go Adventures, and despite the fact that I said this in another video, I'm recording 3 videos in one day again, that next week I will be in LA, but I will be in LA for a Pokemon Go event. And despite the fact that 3 months from now I will be competing at my first ever Pokemon Regionals tournament. So despite all the Pokemon stuff that I am involved in, and boy, I'm just scratching the surface with that. I can't tell y'all how deep I am with Pokemon. I can't explain it. Yeah, contracts are involved. That's how deep. But anywho, this is not a Pokemon ripoff. So why did I say that? Well, here's the reason why. Number one, every single pal, or creature, but they're called pals. Every single pal in this game does not resemble Pokemon. Are there some that resemble Pokemon? Yeah, and I can name some. Anubis for one. There's the thing that looked like Raichu, and then there's others, and there's one that actually looked like Mewtwo. I can't think of the names, but the only one I remember is Anubis, because that's, to me, the coldest looking one. And that thing looked like Lucario, without question. Like I said, there's those three. And then there might be others, but at the same time, when you think about it, I was watching the Gaming Illuminati podcast. I haven't finished that episode yet. But Ethos said that Pokemon was basically ripping off of old school Dragon Quest. So let that sink in. Like, you gotta remember, everybody take inspirations from something, or somebody will go to rip somebody off or something like that. So to say that, oh, Palworld is ripping off of Pokemon, I'm like, do you know how, like, Pokemon been ripping off from other people for a while now? Legends Arceus, for example. You know those alphas that have been running around? They kind of remind me of the bosses from the Elder Scroll games, the Elder Ring games, the Dark Souls games, and things of that nature. So, yeah, let's not act like Pokemon is like the one-all be-all that created everything that there is about Pokemon. No, they took inspirations from somewhere, and they might have jacked some ideas from other places as well. So, let's not act like, oh, they're innocent by any means. No, not even close. Not even close, despite the fact I said I'm so in deep with Pokemon. But that's another story for another day. But I'm still going to say that. Now, there's that. Because you got to remember this as well. This is also survival. This is a survival game, which means there's some Fortnite aspects into it. There's some Minecraft aspect into it, because you're building stuff. No, you're not building stuff while fighting at the same time like you do in Fortnite, but you are still building stuff. It's like Minecraft, but with like a Fortnite touch to it. So there's that. And also you have your pals help you build stuff, and help you mine stuff, and help you plant stuff, and help you carry stuff around and things of that nature. So your pal can do way more than what Pokemon can do. So, and you can also interact with them, you can feed them and things of that nature. Whereas it took Pokemon over a decade just for you to pet them. With the sense of Pokemon Yellow with Pikachu. It took them a decade for you to clean them. It took you a decade for you to feed them. So, yeah, there's that. And the graphics are just better. Like, the graphics in Palworld, they did so much better than the graphics in any Pokemon game that came out. The only game that can compete with Palworld is Pokemon Legends Arceus. To me, I'm going to be honest, within the last decade, Legends Arceus was the best Pokemon game that came out. Without question. I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say that, but Legends Arceus, as great of a game that was, and again, that was the best Pokemon game that came out in the last decade, it still cannot compete with Palworld. It cannot compete with Palworld. So, there you go with that, which brings up the interesting question, is there a lawsuit coming from the Pokemon Company or Nintendo or Game Freak? And the answer is no. Because remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Nintendo. Nintendo will strike down hard and fast. And the fact that this game came out January the 14th, or 19th, excuse me, and it's, as of me recording this, February the 8th, and nothing happened to them, yeah, that's a problem. I mean, well, that's not a problem, but that should be telling you something right then and there, that nothing is happening to Palworld in regards to a lawsuit from the Pokemon Company, from Game Freak, from Nintendo, anything like that. And what makes this even more obvious is the fact that, remember, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, I'm not sure about Game Freak. I don't know where their main headquarters are, but the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, they are based in Japan. Getting back to what I said earlier, Palworld was created by Pocket Pair, which is based in Japan. So if they wanted to do a lawsuit, they don't need to fly across the country or fly across the world to do it. They can just go down the street pretty much, knock on their doors, rather, and say, yo, this look like Pokemon, we're going to hit you up with a lawsuit. But that didn't happen. So the fact that they were this close to each other, where they could literally talk to each other, it didn't happen. So right off the bat, at this point, no lawsuit should be coming to Palworld or to Pocket Pair rather. Now, what they have done is like they hit up Palworld and say like, yo, the PC version, y'all got these modders bringing actual Pokemon into the game. Get that out. Yeah, they have done that twice. And as far as I know, no other player had tried to mod the game to put Pokemon in it. Like nobody tried it since. But 2 people tried it. Nintendo quickly hit them up and like, no, y'all gotta take that off. Y'all gotta take that off. So there's that. So there's that. So no lawsuit is coming. The Pokemon plagiarism is like, and even the Pokemon company issued a statement saying, we have received many inquiries regarding another company's game release in January 2024. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. And basically, them saying, yeah, we heard y'all complaints, but there's nothing we can do about it, so shut the fuck up. That's basically what they said. That's basically what they said. So there you go with that. Now, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. That's one controversy out the way. Here's another one. The fact that you got these creatures going to work, shooting and killing and things of that nature. And I'm like, y'all have heard about a game called Grand Theft Auto, right? Like, y'all know that's a thing where they're shooting and killing in that game, right? You know, believe it or not, Mario Brothers, they actually kill Koopas, right? You know, Sonic, well, granted, he killed robots and freed the animals there, but you get the point there. I mean, like, what are you talking about here? Like, even where Pokemon, they don't kill, they make faint, but there have been some depth scenes in the game, and it's like, oh, you know, cruelty towards animals, stuff like that. I'm like, well, these are fictional creatures. These aren't real life animals. It's one thing if this was like a game that featured like a dog getting shot or something like that. Then now we talking. Now we like, hold up. That's like kind of close to home. That's kind of close to realistic. We don't want that. We don't like that. But we talking about, again, made up creatures that just going at it and fighting each other, which is something that Pokemon do, by the way. They fight each other. Let's not forget about that part. So there's that part. But now let's get to the other controversy that not a lot of people are talking about, and it was brought up is this. Is Palworld close to slavery? And not a lot of people talking about that, and I wonder why. But never mind the fact. But is it close to slavery? And the answer to that question is actually no, it's not. Take it from a black guy, which is me. No, this is not like slavery, because here's the thing about these pals. They voluntarily go to work. As soon as you bring them out their pal spears, aka Pokeballs, they immediately go to work and work on stuff, wherever it is that they're tailored to do, whether it's chopping down trees, digging up rocks, digging up stones, digging up ores, planting stuff. You know, they talk about there's a plantation, stuff like that. Work in the mill, whatever the case may be. They do that. They go and get food. Like if you have like a food basket ready for them with food in it, they'll go over there and eat whenever. They'll go to sleep. They could be cranky. They could be depressed. They could like be disgruntled and be like, yeah, I'm not working. And they can even take breaks. That's not the case with slavery. So to say, oh, this game is like slavery, no, that's far from it as well. That's far from it as well. So overall, bottom line is this. To be honest, while there is some glitches and bugs, but in terms of like the game, in terms of like the principle of it, is anything wrong with the game? Whether it's like a knockoff of Pokemon, whether they talk about cruelty towards animals and slavery and, you know, stuff like that. No, not really. It's really not. It's really, really not. So another question is, is Palworld, well, now here's another question. Will Palworld be the Pokemon killer? And the answer is hell no. Not even close. Not even close. Because Palworld at the moment, Palworld is just a game. That's it. It's just a game. Pokemon is a game, is an anime, is a manga. There's competitions. There's tournaments. There's clothes. There's the trading card games. Pokemon got so much stuff in that franchise that it's going to take years for Palworld to kill Pokemon. There's no way. Now, if you want to say, can Palworld kill Pokemon the games? No, because that Pokemon fan base is massive. It's really, really massive. So, while in some of them, yeah, some of them are playing Palworld, myself included, but it's not like Palworld is not going to take down Pokemon. It's not going to happen. Not now, not ever. It's not going to take down Pokemon. Whether we talk about Pokemon as a whole or Pokemon just the games, it's not going to happen. It just the Pokemon got way too much all over the place for one game to take it down. It's not going to happen. So to say that Palworld is the Pokemon killer, no, just stop that. Stop right now. So while Pokemon cannot sue them, but Pokemon will not be, taken down by them. But what this should do is it should light a fire under the Pokemon company's ass and say, yo, we got to do better. Because let's be honest here, this same old formula of picking your starter, then going to this gym first, then that gym second, and that gym third, it's old and played out. Now, granted, that has not been the case more or less with the latest main series games, Scarlet and Violet, but you still kind of, not definitively, but kind of have to go through this routine of going to this gym first, then that gym, instead of picking which gym you want to go and battle with first. Because if you go into these gyms and you go at like level 15 Pokemon, and you're going to get somebody, the gym leader, with level 40, guess what? That means you can't beat that gym and move on. You got to go back and follow a certain pattern and then go, and then come back and beat that. Or you have to train like crazy. So, I have to say though, Scarlet and Violet is the closest Pokemon game where you could choose which gym you want to battle first. Whereas prior to that, it was already chosen for you. You had to go to this gym first and then beat that gym before you can move on to the next gym. Like, that's how it was for decades until Scarlet and Violet came out, where you had some choice. You had some options to say, okay, I don't want to go to this gym first. Let's go to that gym first. Like, there were some options there, but it wasn't like, oh, there's 8 gyms available. Okay, I can choose between any number of these 8. No, it was more like you could choose between 2 or 3 to start off with, something like that. So, yeah, it was improved there, but they could still be better. And hopefully Palworld lights a fire under Game Freaks and the Pokemon company's ass to make a game that could seriously compete with Palworld. Because if you were to look at the two, Palworld is the better game. Palworld is the better game than Scarlet and Violet. It's better than Legends Arceus. It's way better than Sword and Shield. It's better than really any Pokemon game that came out. That's, part of the main series. I'm not counting that Detective Pikachu and the Mystery Dungeon and none of that nonsense. I don't play those. But when it comes to the main series games and Legends Arceus, Palworld triumphs over all of those games. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm going to call it a wrap. And with all that said, y'all know this is boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.